Dem Women has always been the group that gets to the barricades and gets the work done.
They have done an incredible job of finding good folks at the grassroots, supporting them through the process, walking precincts, and even giving money. There's very few Democratic clubs that do that much for candidates.
So Dem Women is one of the main organizations I go to find volunteers, to phone bank, and to walk, because I know I can contact the president and she'll get the word out and they will actually show up, and there will be a good number of people that actually come in, and it just makes my life as an organizer so much easier, and then I get to bother other people to volunteer instead.
I came in '59, and the '60s was really the early beginnings. We had a small headquarters, we had several. It was really so issues oriented, and rightly so, because so much was happening. It was really a very financially strapped situation. That's probably more than why Betty and Mary Jo decided to do something. Really, because it's one thing to support candidates and issues. It's another thing to be able to give them money of any kind.
I was brand new to Santa Barbara. I really didn't know very many people. This beautiful blonde lady walked over me and whispered in my ear, "I understand you are a Democrat." And she said, "Oh, great." And I thought, well, you know, what's that about? Only to find out that Santa Barbara was floor to floor, wall to wall Republican. She put the word out, and the first time we got together, we had 90 women, and I started bringing in senators and all kinds of people to come and raise money for them and the community. Mary Jo and I were dressed as waitresses, and we did waitress, and everybody had a ball. It was just wonderful. So I think we need to do it again.
I was a friend of Gary Hart's. He was a school teacher at Santa Barbara High, and my boys had him in world history. He ran for Congress, and so I immediately wanted to help, and I worked in his campaign headquarters. I met many wonderful ladies there and soon found out there were Democratic women. They were with it. They talked politics and governments and candidates, and I learned so much.
Democratic Women, when it was first started, was the war of the sexes, because the men wanted brownies at their picnics, and the women wanted to give their opinions. Frankly, the women got tired of that, so we rented the space in the little adobe on Anacapa Street, and then the men wanted part of that too. And then the women said no, and then we were putting out a newsletter, which was everybody, you know, it was for the Democratic Party, but I remember distinctly at one meeting we said, wait, who's doing the newsletter? Who's writing this newsletter? And who's editing it? And this was way before computers. And then who's mailing it? And you know what? It should be Democratic Women Newsletter.
I was the president for 3 years, from 1997 to 2000. I was preceded immediately by Lillian Flavin. When I first joined, there was a discussion as to whether we even needed Santa Barbara Democratic Women. We did decide to keep Dem Women going.
We brought on board a representative from the campus Dems, and we also funded pizzas for their meetings. They had very few members. Once we funded the pizza, they were all there.
With the Santa Barbara County Democratic Women's support, Walter was elected as the first Democrat to Congress in 50 years.
And then the Democratic Women, as Walter Capps got elected, and we started looking around and realizing we could get more and more candidates elected. We just had to work hard, and so that's how it all kind of morphed.
So one of the stars in my memory, of course, is Selma Rubin. So she was an icon for so many of us. I don't even remember how many organizations she served on, but she was our Eleanor Roosevelt. That's the way I used to think about her. Her passion was social justice. She was involved in most of the important social organizations in our community. And for me, she was a role model.
The sweetest part, the sweetest chapter in those 12 years was when Naomi and Gail and Susan were the majority. I know they all feel that they were able then, through their synergies of values and of priorities, were able to advance policies that were mutually meaningful and they felt were high time that were addressed.
I have really enjoyed working on Lois's campaigns. I have worked on those since since 2002. She is so gracious, she's so wonderful to the volunteers, and she's just fun, and she's very, very kind.
I went to a Jewish festival at Oak Park, and I saw a booth that said Democratic Women. And Barbie Deutsch was there, and I said, may I help? And the next thing I knew, they asked me to be on the board. For the past 12 years, I have been involved with several campaigns. My first campaign were with Pedro Nava Assembly, Doss Williams City Hall, Doreen Farr, supervisor, and Marty Bloom, again for City Hall, and mayor. So all along, I have worked for all the different elected officials, and it's been a pleasure.
I feel like I've been educated and I've been inspired and motivated by some of the programs and speakers that Dem Women has had, such as Valerie Plame and Lily Ledbetter and Rory Kennedy and Russ Feingold. I mean, they've all been incredible speakers. So when I go to your events and I hear those speakers, I walk away feeling very energized.
The support that I've received just in the last couple months has been overwhelming. I was recently appointed to the city's Committee on Community Development and Human Services, and I got direct support letters and actually support members at my interview the day of in front of City Council. And I'm just so grateful to be a part of this organization.
I was very blessed to have the endorsement of the Dem Women in Santa Barbara in 2010 when I first ran for office. But I also realized that it's also the relationship, the women who are part of Dem Women, is because it's those relationships that you build that help you understand the issues in our community, that help you think about and work through what it means to be in public office, what it means to influence public policy.
My next stop was the Democratic Women. And I found myself amongst a group of seasoned veterans who are more skeptical and who listen, I think, a little harder. And lo and behold, I managed to get the Dem Women's support despite not having the Central Committee support. And that really, as much as anything, it probably turned me around. It said, I do have a shot, and so I'm going to go for this. So I knew that I had some people believing in me, and I'll be forever grateful.
My hope for Democratic Women is that new generations of women will continue to step up to lead the way, to strengthen and grow the organization, to endorse and support candidates who represent our values and priorities, and to be strong voices for social progress in our community. May it always be said that Democratic women are the life of the party.
There's been a graying of the party. There's been a graying of a lot of our local organizations. We really need to make sure that we mentor younger people, attract them into whether it's being candidates, whether it's being elected officials, whether it's being just the grassroots people, or just voting.
My mentor, Else Anderson, took me to a tea 3 years ago. I started just doing like events, and then I started going with her and with everyone else to help like Doss Williams' campaign. It got me the internship position for Lois Capps. That really got me excited about politics. My decision to go to a women's school was really influenced by Dem Women, and then my decision to study political science and study women's studies was also like super influenced, because I don't think I would have like even considered that as a possibility before.
When my grandma moved to Santa Barbara, she started being involved, and when I was born, she brought me to events. I would like there to be a woman president in my lifetime, and for the Equal Rights Amendment to be part of the Constitution. It'd be very cool.
I am, everlastingly happy about having done what I've been able to do. I slept and dreamed that life was happiness. I awoke and saw that life was service. I served and found that in service, happiness is found. That's really what I believe.
Here's to 45 years strong, and here's to the next 45 years. I know I'll be a part of it.
I'm a Democratic woman, and I love taking pictures for them.
Hi, I'm Dennis Wylie, and I helped Mary Ellen by sorting through the Democratic women roster.
I'm a Democratic woman, and when my wife isn't looking, I'm raising bids in the silent auction.
I'm a Democratic woman, and I enjoy providing guitar playing at our events.
But when you get somebody elected, it makes you feel good. We get accomplishments. We. Us. Dem women.